Hello and welcome to Safari Rally Kenya. I'm your host, Simbo. I'm humbled to interview one of the greatest sporting names in the world. That is former Chelsea, Porto, and Spurs coach André Villas-Boas, who made his WRC debut in his home country, Portugal. The 43-year-old who competed in the Dakar Rally in the past drove in the WRC3 category, which is reserved for private entries. He joins us live from Porto in Portugal. Such an exciting moment to have you here, André Villas-Boas. You have so many fans. Most people know you as a football manager, where you have been in charge of some of the top clubs in the world, as I just said earlier, Chelsea, Spurs, Porto. But now you're currently also making headlines behind the steering wheel too. First, let's just that is the UEFA Champions.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for listening to me. It's a pleasure to speak to any audience and to you, Sean. I've been to the UEFA Champions League final. I think what everyone saw was that it was quite clear how well Chelsea played. So it was one of those finals where the best team won, because they were by far the better team offensively, defensively, tactically. So I think it's a well-deserved win for Chelsea, their second Champions League, and I think no question about the result of the game. They were the best team.
Amazing. And also, I know we'll definitely discuss football later, not on this platform, on another platform, but let's quickly just go into your motorsport side. How did you get into rallying?
Well, it was a combination of various things. I was in the middle of launching my foundation. My foundation is called Race for Good. Of course, the name race is obviously attached to motor racing a little bit. And the two things played together: the importance of the WRC, the media exposure that the WRC gets, and the fact that I was having fun testing this Citroën with a team called the Sports and You. So I tested the car. I enjoyed. I have a little bit of experience more in rally ride. But I was having fun with doing rallies. So the two things, played back at the same time. It gives great media exposure for Race for Good. So I decided to join in the WRC. It was a big adventure.
Amazing. Have you always loved rallying? Where did the passion come from?
Well, it's been within the family for years and years. So my father, he used to take me to the Grand Prix Formula One, Estoril, since I was a little boy. And he also took me to other motor racing events. So my uncle also did the Dakar 2 times. He also did the old Camel Trophy, if you remember, and he finished second. So within the family, there has always been this link to motorsports. So you can almost say that it's passing on from generation to generation. I hope to pass it to my son Federico and my 2 daughters as well, Caroline and Dita. And it's been spread out from generation to generation. So that's why we get the buzz from it, and this is why I have this special passion for motorsport.
Yes, and did your uncle taking part in the Dakar Rally also contribute to your interest in taking part in the Dakar Rally, which I know you did in 2018?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Through the years, I was used to seeing him compete. And then he was also the founder of off-road here in Portugal. So a lot of off-road events were done by my uncle in Portugal. He was the one who launched a lot of off-road events after he did the Dakar. So it has been within the family for quite some time.
Motorsport world and just sport in general.
Sorry, can you repeat?
Motorsport world and just sports in general. Your mentor.
Yeah. Well, in my youth, I was inspired by Alain Prost. Let's say I was a big fan of him. It was the days, as you remember, of Prost and Senna competition. And there was the people that were more Senna, the people that were more Prost. I was more Prost because I also loved when he went from McLaren to Ferrari. So basically, he was my idol when I was a little boy, and after that, in sports, of course, football, I have Sir Bobby Robson, which was the inspiration for me. He has been the key to my relationship with football, if we can say like that. So it was always my mentor and my inspiration.
Amazing. And for those who are watching here on Safari, we have a top football coach, that is André Villas-Boas, talking to us. In interest, as you can hear from him, it's a passion from way back. It's a family passion. Who has an interest in that is the WRC. He made his debut in the WRC3 in Portugal, and also that is Race for Good. So anyone who has questions and comments for him, just feel free to drop them in the comment section on Safari Rally Kenya TV page. That is Safari Rally Kenya, that is on Facebook. So let's continue, Andre. How many rallies have you taken part in so far, and do you plan on taking more races in the future?
Well, rallies is very difficult. It's also very challenging and quick. So I'm more into rally ride. I've done the Morocco rally, the Dakar rally. I've done Merzouga rally also in Morocco. So rally ride is a little bit my scene. Not so much WRC. WRC is really, really intense, difficult, intense burst of concentration and speed. So I don't plan to do a lot more in WRC. Maybe if I do another one, it will be more rally ride. It's where I'm more inclined to do, where I have more experience, even in getting good results sometimes. But that's it. Whenever I'm away from football, I'm my time for this passion, and let's see what I can do. But I don't think it's going to be the worst.
Yes, and we have so many comments coming in. We have Gary Gishu saying, Villas-Boas, it's so excited that you're here. And I know, let's just say that it's coming on your screen. And then we have Sanford Chiwome, who says, do you think you can get into the WRC2? I know you've answered that, saying WRC is a bit tough and upwards. And then we will continue. I'm just saying, Pride of Africa, ask Andre his opinion in motorsport.
His opinion about you have sometimes the sound cut. Sorry.
Yeah, that is the comment on the screen. Just your opinion about the in motorsport. Yes.
Well, I think it's FIA who is starting to introduce hybrid cars and in their competitions. I think is a logic way forward. Of course, there is some resistance from the builders of the cars and from some drivers, of course. But listen, I think it's the way forward. What we want is a safer and better world, environment-wise. Everybody is fighting for better conditions for our world. There are issues related to the environment that we need to solve, and of course, motorsport has to set the example. It has changed from a long time already. So there is limit in terms of tires already, fuel, and the usage of power in the cars. So there is much more limitations right now. But I think the way forward, from what it seems, the FIA is showing us, is to respect the environment. So I hope that the big teams can adapt quickly to this, that we can continue to see good spectacles. I think Formula E is a good example that electric cars can give spectacular races. So hopefully, Dakar is also going that way. WRC next year with the hybrid cars. So I think it's going forward.
Amazing. So let's now talk about your debut. which was, what was the experience like? Live up to expectation of the race?
Well, of course, my ambition was to finish the race. It was already difficult in itself. For me, the most the stages I would finish, the better the awareness for Race for Good. This was the most important for me. It's very, very tricky because there is a fight for the second, and when you have a fight for the seconds, you have to go flat out, and this is when you do mistakes and that you can you know, smash a wheel or go out of the track, and that's the end of the rally. So we managed to do it stable. We don't have a lot of experience, as you know, in with rally cars, and my co-driver is also my friend. He has no experience. Yeah, so we were totally amateur, but we managed to do great result. We were penalized 3 minutes for controlling in advance, which was a pity, because or else we would have finished 28th place, which was top 13. So we were quite happy. Of course, we didn't go to the limits. We didn't risk. We played for our safety, because the most important thing for us was the message of Race for Good, and we managed to take the car to the end, and that gave much more awareness.
Yes, and when you're out driving in Portugal, you know, driving, what was going on through your mind? You're rallying, and especially when you're driving past the Fafe, because we've seen the videos of what happens when it comes to that part. Yes.
Yeah. It's very difficult. FAF is very difficult, because as you saw, after I passed, in the second pass, there was a big accident there. So you reach this jump in fifth gear. You have to slow down a little bit just not to fly out. You have to, well, for us, the big guys, they go flat out and they jump. But for us, we have to reduce speed a little bit. And then when you're just about to make the jump, you have to step on the gas again, so that the front of the car lifts off. So this was very, very tricky. The track is quite narrow over there, and the landing is even narrower. So if you don't approach it in right in the middle, you can end up touching the right or left bank when you land the car. So we arrived to the jump in fifth gear. I took off the gas a little bit early, and then as I was about to jump, I pushed on the gas. But we touched a little bit with the nose, but not so much that it ruined the car. It went perfect, good landing, and we were just able to go through. The second passage we didn't do because of the accident. So the accident prevented us from doing the second passage. But I had already spoken to my co-driver to do it slower.
So what was the best memory of the WRC Portugal leg?
Best memory, a few. First of all, the start in Coimbra. Coimbra is the city where I started my career as a coach. In a club there that is very historical club of Portugal. So that gave me a special feeling. The presentation being in a city that means so much to me. Then, of course, the FAF jump was special because it is difficult. But Vieira do Minho stage. Vieira do Minho was on Saturday. It is where I have a house on the countryside, so I've done those routes a few times with my motorbikes. So I know, and I was able to go a bit quicker and enjoy a bit more. So those were the biggest memories, and of course, reaching the end in such a good position, and a lot of awareness for Race for Good. So we doubled the amount of followers in social media. We have a lot of people showing interest in Race for Good. We have people that want to be part of our projects, ambassadors that want to be part. So I think that was the main thing for us.
Yes. How much did you manage to raise from this specific race?
We managed to raise 52,000 euros.
Wonderful.
So
amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So we had 5 companies that approached us, that were interested in sponsoring a Race for Good. The money is going to be spread out now in the next week, and that was great because Sean, what is the problem? We bought spaces in the car, so Race for Good bought spaces in the cars to advertise and raise awareness. For example, in Monte Carlo, we had a car with the colors of ASAP. But okay, it raises awareness, but in terms of donation, it fell short. So we couldn't create the right link. Okay, we could raise awareness, but institutions like this, they live off private funding. They need funding. So this time for Portugal, we decided to do it differently. We sold the spaces in the car to companies, and the money 100% went to the institution. So it was quite good, and they were happy.
All right, and also you have ACE Africa, and we've seen what it has done, especially for the youth here, including here in Kenya. Talk about ACE Africa too.
Well, ACE Africa has been around for 18 years with projects in Kenya and Tanzania. Projects in Kenya, I think, is in Kabula region, if I'm not wrong. They are in Kabula, and Kabula is and Kogelo. Kogelo is Siaya County.
Yeah. Yes, in Kenya, yes.
Siaya and Bongoma County. So this is
Siaya is a county on its own. That's why we're inviting you to Kenya. You will come and see soon. Yes, but continue. Just with the difference.
And those they have different programs. So basically, they take people with different, let's say, that can provide help in terms of education, medicine, self-sustainability, agriculture. So they help small communities in Kenya and Tanzania to be self-sustainable. So they go into these small communities and they try to help the local people there to establish self-sustainability. I have been with their ambassador for the last 10 years, and it's been good to follow that progress as well.
And some questions we are receiving between.
Sorry, you have to repeat because your mic got cut.
Oh, sorry. Between football and running, which one do you enjoy the most?
Well, football is my responsibility. So there is, first is my job. There is a responsibility towards the fans to get results, and you have to be consistent with your results. So there is this pressure of delivering results. Of course, in terms of the Rally of Portugal, I was under pressure because of the social and humanitarian responsibility of the message of Race for Good. Imagine if I go out the first day of the rally or in the first stage, and the message dissipates. You can't raise the message enough. So I felt a little bit of this responsibility, social and human, towards the message of Race for Good. But yeah, football, I have much more pressure. I enjoy it, but there's more pressure in football.
Yes. What is the biggest lesson you learned from racing?
There is one great thing in motor racing, which is the environment. So what I've noticed in WRC, it's that there is a special link between the competitors. They have great relationships. They compete, but they are able to share ideas. Every time we stopped, I saw them together. In football, there is a little bit more adversity. There is more competition, but there is more animosity. It is a sport that is more visual, so there is more intensity and more aggressiveness, let's say like that. So I've learned through motorsport that there are sports that can be a little bit more camaraderie, if we can say like that, and it's a good lesson to take into the world of football. Sometimes we need that a little bit more.
Yes. And now the sixth leg of the WRC is taking part in Kenya. That is the Safari Rally, where the Safari Rally is making a comeback to the global scene after 19 years. So such a big and exciting moment for Kenya. Have you heard of the Safari Rally? Have you seen any videos of the Safari Rally in the past?
Yeah, I've heard of the Safari Rally. It was that special because it was so different.
Yes.
The preparation of the cars, the rally cars with the tires in the top. You know, the rally cars also that you used to see them low whenever they went to Safari Rally, they had to lift up the suspension, so the rally cars looked different. I remember when I was a little boy, I had a few, I collected miniatures, and I had a few miniatures of the cars, of the Lancias that went to the Safari Rally. So they were totally different from the small one that you normally had for the Rally Championship. So it is a special event, totally different, a lot of mud. It used to be like that. I'm not sure what the organization has prepared.
Yeah, it's something similar, and it's through some of the biggest parks here, and the scenery is beautiful. You know, we have zebras. When you drive, you can see all these wild animals, and the terrain is something else. So
the Safari Rally, it is special. I think. Let me see, because sometimes. Let me see.
Yeah.
I know, because the other day I was reading. Do you remember those books called Michel Vaillant?
Yeah. Yes.
So Michel Vaillant was a French driver, and they had the books when I was a young boy, and now I read them to my son. And the other day I was reading to him the Michel Vaillant Safari Rally book, and it shows precisely this: the zebras, the rhinos when they go through, and it was special.
Amazing, and beautiful. Do you think you'll take part in one soon, maybe later in future?
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say because listen, I had no idea of doing the Rally of Portugal, and then the things played together, and I took part. So you cannot say never, never say never. Maybe one day. It is a special rally. It is really.
Amazing. And also, let's talk about how rallying is expensive. I know you've realized that when taking part in rallying. So, how did you manage to make sure your car is ready for the WRC3 in Portugal in terms of finances?
Well, it is difficult. Normally, what gentlemen drivers like me do is we rent cars to teams that have these client rental programs. So it was the case. I rent the car to a friend of mine. I have seen that you have put the images of him when we are together. He is a multiple national champion in Portugal, great driver, and he also has his program for renting. It is expensive, really. It is expensive. I mean, but as you know, motorsport in general, in all categories, is expensive. Circuit racing, Dakar, and rally. So this is a Pedro, which is on the left side of me. So he runs Sports and You. It's his team. That's his car. So he has also a great career because he has won in circuit. He has been national champions in circuit and in rally. So he provided me with the Citroën. After I had a support from Citroën Racing as well. A great person, and he was the one who made it easier for me, this entry into rally.
Amazing. Now let's go to the fun questions. Thank you for that, for just taking us through your passion for rallying. I know most people would want to talk about football, but we are looking forward to the WRC Safari Rally, which is taking place that this June, and that is from the 24th to the 27th. Such a huge moment for Kenya. So let's go to the fun questions. And this is the first one. What is the biggest challenge you have faced in the sporting world in general, and how have you managed to conquer that?
Well, I think that my biggest challenge was when I coached my own team. So I was born in Porto. I am a Porto fan. I have been for 8 years the coach of Porto youths. So from 8 to 18 years old, I was coaching these young boys. So I started my career as a coach when I was 18, and I was already coaching Porto's youths. Then I became assistant coach to Jose Mourinho in Porto for 3 years. And after I became a Porto coach when we won 4 trophies. So the pressure of coaching Porto is immense. It's something that you have to imagine that you become a coach of the team that you always were a fan of. So you know the responsibility towards the fans. You know how the fans react. You know the media. You know the pressure. You know the club. So I think I always say that that was my biggest achievement in my career, was to coach my team of love and to be able to have success with Porto. It is also my greatest glory, but it was also my biggest challenge.
Yes, and who's your favorite rally driver of all time?
Favorite rally driver? I think at that time in the 80s and 90s, I was a Carlos Sainz fan. And Sainz was inspiration. Then came Colin McRae and the spectacle that was seeing Colin McRae. I have met a few of them. I had the opportunity to meet also Ari Vatanen. And what I like in Ari Vatanen and Carlos Sainz is they were able to compete and win in rallies and in the Dakar Rally. So my biggest passions, they were able to succeed and to have success in them. So I would say Carlos Sainz because when I was in love, when I used to go to see the Rally of Portugal, he was the driver that I was waiting for to see him pass.
Amazing. And I know his son is doing also a wonderful job when it comes to the Formula One. Okay, so have you ever been tempted to drive fast on a public road?
It's a tricky question. Of course, there is limits to respect, but no, normally I'm quite calm. I used to be, I used to be a little bit more furious driving, but I think with age and maturity now, I don't speed a lot. I have a good car collection, but I don't exceed the speed limits. I don't go crazy now.
So if you're not a football coach or a rally driver, what do you think you'd be, Karen, like in the moment?
Probably a journalist.
Oh, really?
Yes, probably, because my grandfather, he was a sports journalist, and when I finished school, it was the profession that I wanted to take. So I would say probably journalist. Yeah.
Amazing, wonderful. If you could be someone else for a day, who would you be?
Someone else for a day. Someone else for a day. I think President of the United Nations, but with power to make the world a better place. Because the current President of the United Nations is Portuguese, Antonio Guterres. But I really wish he had more power to change the world.
I mean, yeah, true. So will you be going, this is also another question we got, will you be going back into football coaching soon?
Well, let's see. The market now went crazy because there were some unexpected exits.
Yes.
So our market is very, very closed. But there are a few clubs changing, and when a few clubs changing, positions start to open and close at the same time. It looked to be very, very steady this year. I always set up for me a 15-year career, so I want to do 3 more years in coaching. Ideally, I would like to do a World Cup, so let's see what happens with the national teams in the near future. That's what I'm looking for. Yes,
and then before we go to your message to your rally fans, how have you managed to juggle, that is, rallying and a bit of football? I mean, football coaching and rallying.
Yeah. Well, I don't juggle. What I do is whenever I'm out of football, I'm racing. So I occupy my time with racing. I get some time to see football, of course, but my hobby is my motorsports, and whenever I find myself away from football, I'm more likely in a bike or in a car.
Amazing. So what is your message as we wrap up the interview to your fans and also now your new fans who actually got a chance to watch you make your debut in the World Rally Championship? So what is your message to just your fans and also your parting shot?
Well, thank you. I can only say thank you. Thank you so much for following me with that interest. Particularly you guys in Kenya, that you have been so quick to contact me for this interview. That always brings a special feeling. So thank you so much. In Africa, I haven't done a few countries. I've done South Africa, Angola, and Morocco. I hope to go a little bit more to the east side and know a few more places.
Amazing. I hope you visit Kenya soon, and I hope you can also get to and I know we'll do another interview later on, not on this page, on another platform where we can talk about your football journey. Thank you so much for joining us, André.
No problem.
And continue enjoying your rallying. We're wishing you all the best also when it comes to your side. All the best, and thank you so much for pressing the interview. You're welcome.
All the best to you guys, and hope to see you soon. And all the best in the Safari Rally.
Thank you for joining us, and that's good message to the Safari Rally. She's actually making a comeback to the national scene, that is to the global, international scene, the global scene after 19 years. It will be happening from the 24th to the 27th of June. That was André, boss. We were just talking to him, his experience in the WRC, as we look forward to our Kenyan drivers also taking part in the WRC there. I know the entry list was announced over the weekend, and we have your top names on that entry list: Baldev Chaga, Onkarai. We have the youngings, that these are in the likes of Makreki Mathi, Hamza Anwar. So we'll be looking forward to that, and also we'll continue with these interviews to just bring you those exclusive interviews where you can actually listen to the drivers as we're talking to André, just how you can talk to them, how you can. Thank you so much for your questions, comments. We'll do this again. Thank you so much for the team behind the scenes, Faraday, my director, Asante Sana, Mora Malanga, the social media manager, and also to our CEO, Kome Kazungu. Asante, I'll see you next time. And this production was brought to you by DGC. I'm Shono Simbo. Take care and see you soon.